Hi, I'm Kristen. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be going over just kind of my basic base makeup routine. So I'm not going to be doing eye makeup, but I'm going to go over kind of my daily foundation, concealer, contour, all the basics that I typically do. So I'm going to be going through my favorite products that I use every day and just kind of showing you how I get my basic look. So when I'm doing my makeup, I typically start with filling in my eyebrows. So I like to use this Salon Perfect Done-in-One Brow Pomade, and this is in the shade Light Brown. So as you can see, just a little pomade here. It's been used a ton. And I just take a little slanted eyebrow brush, get a little on there, and I just kind of start drawing in the hairs, get the basic shape that I want. I like for my brows to still look fairly natural, but I have to fill them in because naturally I have like platinum blonde eyebrows. Funny story about that, I've always had eyebrows where they were really dark here and really, really light out here, and they are there, but they're blonde. And I came back from the hairdresser one day and I was like, "Hey Mom, look, I had her dye my eyebrows, they look so much better." My mom was like, "Oh my gosh, I thought you've been over plucking this whole time and I had no idea how to tell you." Like, thanks Mom. Luckily I have been filling them in for a long time, so not many people had seen what looked like my lack of eyebrows. Just finishing up, making them match. My eyebrows never want to be even. But that's okay because we wanted to be sisters, not twins, right? Okay. Pretty good. I don't fill them in very heavily because I like to still be able to see like little skin breaks in there that make it look as natural as can be. Just kind of cover those little blonde hairs up. So the next thing that I'm going to do is take my primer here. It's almost empty, but I already ordered another one. This is the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. This one is awesome for me because I have super, super dry skin, and this primer is just really good at kind of creating a barrier that keeps my skin moisturized throughout the day and kind of adheres the makeup to kind of a second layer of skin that it creates and keeps it from like settling into cracks in my skin where it gets dry. So we just spread that and then we give it about a minute to dry to our face. It's very tacky, like it has kind of a sticky quality to it that kind of clings to the makeup, which feels weird when you put it on, but as soon as you put on your foundation, you don't feel that stickiness anymore. So while that's drying, the next thing I'm going to use is my Huda Beauty Faux Filter Foundation. This is in the shade Vanilla. This is definitely a very full coverage foundation, but that's what I like. But I've found that you have to be pretty careful not to use too much of it because it's very, very full coverage. So I just use one pump and spread it on the different little parts of my face, get kind of little even dots here. I always put it right on the side of my nose because that's an area that I get very dry skin and have pretty deep pores, so sometimes foundation doesn't want to stick in there for me. Then I just take a damp beauty blender and start spreading it out. Get as close to the eyebrows as we can. If I'm taking more time and doing a makeup look that's for like pictures or something that I want it to look really, really flawless, I'll take a little brush and line the eyebrows. But on a typical day, I just use the edge of my beauty blender and get as close as I can. One thing about this foundation, it does really oxidize. So right now it looks like ghostly up there, but after it has a second to dry on my face, it'll match my skin tone better, which is one shade darker than ghostly. I'm just putting a little bit on my eyelids here just to blend those colors, not too heavy. Normally I do some eyeshadow, but I don't really have a daily eyeshadow look. I tend to change it up all the time, so that's kind of a different video. But trust me, I'll post plenty of eyeshadow videos for you to choose from. Make sure we get that other eyelid. And the chin. And I go over my lips as I do it so that I don't have any kind of lines in between the skin on my face and my lips. So I want to make sure that's all the same color, and then we'll define it later with the contrast from the lipstick. So then after I do that, I kind of like to take the same brush that I used for my brows, and I don't actually put any new product on it. I just kind of go over it and use it to kind of pull off any loose foundation that stuck to my brows, and just bring in a little bit more of that brown. So it just kind of makes sure that we didn't get any speckles from our foundation on there. Now I'm going to take my Mary Kay Perfecting Concealer. This is in the shade Light Ivory. And we're just going to go below the eyes with it. For just a daily look, I typically just do below the eyes. If I want to glam it up a little bit, that's when I'll add it to like the bridge of the nose and the forehead and chin and all that. But under the eyes is pretty much my typical routine. Just blend that out. I'm just using the same beauty blender, just using the tip of it. Use my finger to blend a little bit. Okay, so once we've done that, I like to take a loose powder here, and this is the Mary Kay Mineral Powder Foundation Ivory 1. And you're probably thinking like, oh my gosh, don't put a powder foundation over a liquid foundation, but this is super light, and so it kind of just works for like a setting powder that's the same color as the foundation, so you can't see much difference. It just kind of mattifies it a little bit, helps kind of tap it into those little fine lines and creases in your face and pores and all that. Gives a nice smooth finish and helps set it a little bit before I go into contour so that I don't end up dragging the foundation around. So the next thing I'm going to do is take my Maybelline New York Master Fix. This is a setting and perfecting loose powder. I just kind of put a little bit in the lid here. Take my beauty blender again. And we're going to start by doing just under the eyes. Just get kind of a nice thick layer right there. So next we're going to go to the contour, and I'm using the Huda Beauty Tantour in the shade Fair. I'm just going to take this little brush here, get a little bit straight from the compact, and just get right below the cheekbone here. Go down the jaw and just a little bit right next to the chin and the forehead. With this product, I really like to do one side of my face at a time because it actually changes from a cream to a powder. And so I like to make sure that I give enough time to blend each side before it sets to a powder and ends up dragging my product around. So go ahead and blend that out. sure we get that jaw blended real nice. Then go up and get the forehead. Then we're going to make the other side match, so we're doing the exact same thing on the other side of our face. Doing it real good up here. Make sure we don't have any line showing. We want everything perfectly blended. Go down the jaw just a little bit so that we don't have a line where your makeup stops. And then I take this same little brush and I just put a little tiny bit on my nose just to slim it a little and match up all those tones. And I kind of blend as I do it, since this is a more appropriate brush size for the nose. But then I'll kind of take the bigger one and just buff it out just a little bit, get it blended nice and smooth. Okay, so now that we have that done, we are going to go back in with our setting powder. We go just below the contour and kind of bring some of that highlight back into it. Make sure we really have those different shades really pop. Go down the nose and on the forehead, and that's going to make up for where I didn't put the concealer in those places earlier, because the setting powder is going to lighten those up pretty well too. So now I'm going to take just a powder brush here and wipe off what I had done below my eyes. So while that sets, I'm going to put on a little bit of mascara. I'm going to use Maybelline Last Sensation. And normally I would have done the eye makeup first, but like I said, today I'm focusing more on just the base makeup and kind of showing you the constant daily parts of my routine. But we always need mascara. It ties everything together. Alright, now we have our dark lashes. I feel like our face is a little more pulled together. So now I'm just going to take that powder brush again and wipe off that excess setting powder. Just doing it real lightly. Don't want to mess up anything underneath, just getting off loose powder there. So next thing I'm going to take is this Pacifica Coconut Blush, and it is the shades Beaming and Tender Heart. Then I'm going to take this angled brush here, and I'm going to take this like kind of dark pink shade and go just in the very corner over here, kind of at the top of where I did my highlight, at the start of my cheekbone. Do it on both sides. Then I'm taking a Mary Kay Mineral Cheek Color, and this is called Cherry Blossom. I'm taking that same brush I just used, getting some of that. I'm kind of going a little bit over the contour with some of this nice dark blush color I have really red undertones to my skin, so adding a little bit of blush to my contour makes it look a little more natural on me. Gotta really blend everything. Keep everything very, very soft looking. So then the next thing I'm going to take is this Mary Kay blush right here, and it's called Sky Blush. And then we're just going to go up on the higher part of our cheekbone here. This has some shimmer to it, it's a little lighter, so it's going to kind of highlight the cheekbones, make them look nice and rosy. And I really make sure to blend it with that deeper blush below so that it just looks like it's the higher point of our cheekbones fading down to the lower point and not like we have two distinct colors. Okay, so there's our blush. Next thing I'm going to do is take this Becca highlighter in the shade Opal. I actually like to just use my fingers for this. Sticks better than a brush in my opinion. And just go right on the cheekbones right there. Really add in that nice highlight. Make sure we blend it real well. Do just a tiny bit on the tip of our nose, chin, and forehead. I don't like to put a lot in those places because I feel like it can look borderline oily on me, but I'll go heavier on the cheek and then just a tiny bit in those spots. So the next thing I'm going to do is just add on a little bit of kind of a daily lipstick for me. I switch it up a little bit, but this is one of my go-tos. So I'll start with CoverGirl Outlast, and the shade is 415. I don't think it has an actual name besides that number, but if there is, I'll make sure to link it in the description. I'm just going to kind of use this like a lip liner. It also functions as a stain. So just going to kind of draw on some lip color here. Alright, and then I'm going to take this Mary Kay lipstick. This is in the shade Rosewood. It's just kind of a very neutral dark pink. And just kind of put a thin layer of it on. And then to finish it off, I'm going to use my Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. Make sure everything stays put. I always kind of block my hair because my hair likes to curl on contact with water, so this will keep that from happening if you kind of block it with a little hand visor there. So there you have it. This is kind of my daily look. Normally I'd add some eyeshadow to it, but not always. Sometimes I'll just kind of stop here. It depends on my schedule for that morning. But hopefully you can apply some of this stuff to your routine if you weren't sure how to do contour, blush, anything like that. If there's anything you want me to elaborate more on, feel free to ask down in the comments. And I'll be sure to link all of these products in the description so that if you liked any of them, you can make sure to get them for yourself. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Bye.